Nobody does fall better than Whole Foods Market. The Spice Up Autumn event is happening now. Save on animal welfare certified beef top sirloin steak, perfect with gravy for a comforting meal. Find savings on organic Honeycrisp apples and organic pears. Then visit the bakery department for their limited time pumpkin butter chai cake. And while you can, level up your fridge with fall wine, beers, and ciders. Spice Up Autumn at Whole Foods Market. Terms apply. Must be 21 plus. Please drink responsibly.
It's time to get your checking account to zero with free checking from PenFed. That's zero ATM fees, zero balance requirements, and zero time spent waiting for your paycheck to direct deposit because you can receive it up to 2 days early. Open your account with just $25 and see how big zero can be. Apply online today at PenFed.org/free checking. Early direct deposit eligibility may vary between pay periods and timing of payers' funding. To receive any advertised product, you must become a member of PenFed, insured by NCUA.
PenFed's got great rates for everyone.
Welcome back to the Mediocre Alaskan Podcast. It's Thursday, or no, tomorrow's Thursday.
It's Wednesday.
Today is Wednesday. I was planning on the day that it's going to come out. This is the podcast for Thursday, and my wife is back. Yeah. Hi, Abby.
Hello.
I don't know why I keep saying hi to you, as if I haven't seen you the last hours.
Well, I feel like I should have something cool to say, but I got nothing.
You got nothing?
I'll think about it.
Well, a couple cool things is we have cookies going.
We do?
And then we have leftovers for dinner. Salmon chowder.
That's correct.
Where does your salmon chowder rank as far as stuff that you've cooked?
I don't know.
Because I kind of want to talk about food and experimentation with new recipes.
Okay, can we start over? I
things.
feel like I'm just...
No, this is perfect. This is great. This is the authentic. This is real.
Okay.
This is real. So the salmon chowder, this is the second time you've done the salmon chowder, right?
Oh, I've done it many times.
Mostly down in Laramie. The 2 times we've done it here, the first time there was a little bit too much jalapeno, or we thought. Second batch, a little less jalapeno.
Not as good.
Not quite as good.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the key with a chowder, because it can be so rich, is you want to have a little spice to kind of cut it.
Yeah.
So it's that balance between you don't want to add too much cream and it gets too rich, and the salmon is also tends to be really rich. But instead of adding so much cream, you add some jalapenos to just give it a little bit more flavor, a little bit more depth.
As we got further down into it, on the first night, it was started to get like a little bit more spicy, and we were worried if it was too spicy, but I thought it was pretty stinking good.
Yeah, it may not have been well mixed.
Oh, that can happen. And then it was really sad because we forgot to put it away.
Yeah.
And then in the morning it was there. So who knows the depth of the spice, but super, super good. I think we had king with it the first time, and the second time it was coho. Mm-hmm. But definitely good. So it was potatoes, carrots, all your basic chowder type stuff. Salmon. What kind of cream did you use? And you cooked the salmon first, then added it to it and finished it?
Yeah, I baked the salmon to pretty much almost done, and then just onions, carrots, celery, garlic, some kind of broth. Boil that for a little bit, and then add in the jalapenos and the salmon towards the end, and then just stir in. I use a cup of whipping cream, or you can use like more half and half, but we had whipping cream, which was why I made the recipe.
Perfect, yeah. That was really good. Before that, we were just kind of working backwards. We did pepperoni.
Yeah.
And we just used the High Country, it was the High Country, right?
I think so, yeah. High Country pack that you can get to make pepperoni sticks.
Got some pork fat from the store. Measured out. What was our ratio in it of being?
About 20% fat.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. I did talk to some people, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait, was 20% them or was it us? Some did 30, and it depends on the meat too. Yeah. I think some people, when they're doing a bear sausage, they don't do much fat at all. I'm not sure what Ryan uses, but Ryan has an awesome summer sausage recipe. Like, you couldn't tell. I think I've mentioned this before on the podcast, but it wasn't good for bear summer sausage. It was like good for summer sausage. It was
Yeah.
as good as any summer sausage that I've had. We went to his house for dinner, I don't know, 2 weeks ago now.
Yep.
And he had that out, and it's so good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, his was definitely good. And I mean, I think it's hard with the summer sausages. I mean, you buy a mix and you make it, right? So it's like you're like oh, it's hard to go wrong, right? Like, but everyone does always say you should add more spice than the package says. And I was like, well, we got to start with what the package says, right? And yeah, sure enough.
Yeah. There were two things that kind of went against us. First was, well, three, I guess. The grinder that we have is Cuisinart. It was a bargain buy. It's not meant for industrial stuff. It goes through, if you have a nicely trimmed blacktail, it'll go through a couple of those. I've had it, this is the third season. So not bad. But trying to grind everything and then spit it out the tube.
So this is actually like a question for any listeners out there, because I had a different grinder down in Wyoming, and I tried to make snack sticks in those tiny little like 18 millimeter tubes, and they're just a pain to stuff. Like, it's not worth it. It's way easier to just put it in a bigger summer sausage tube, and it's the same product but just in a different shape. But anyways, so the point there was we tried to stuff those really tiny sausages and make these cute little snack sticks, and we got like maybe 2 feet of snack stick, and we were like, this is unsustainable. We can't. Yeah. It's so slow. The thing is working so hard. So I don't know if anyone out there has successfully made those snack sticks, but it seems impossible unless you really have an industrial grade grinder. I don't know if there's like tips or tricks that we're missing.
Yeah, I think the grinder was shaking. It definitely looked like it was going to smoke and it was going to be done. I think the two things, the industrial strength grinder, and I think all the brands might match too. So if you get like the Lem grinder and the Lem products, then maybe it goes a little bit better together. But there's also those sausage stuffers. And I don't know if they go down to that small grade. I'm sure they probably do. So that might be why so many people use that.
Mm-hmm. Like the manual one, so you can just like crank down on it with your muscle. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There was one of them, it was like $300 or something like that, because it can do a whole bunch, but it also said something about speed. So I'm not really sure if there was like an assist. It was like an e-bike version of a sausage stuffer, because you pedal and then it helps you out, or in the sausage case you grind.
Some of them just have more gears to give you more of an advantage on your turn, I guess.
More efficient, especially if you're doing a lot more. It'd probably be a good thing.
Yeah.
So we got about 2 feet of that, like you said, and it was just unsustainable. So we went to we had casings for the summer sausage, and so we ended up doing that. And it's nice. The convenience of the snack stick is great, and you just bite. It's fine. Once you open up those larger, like the loaf, the summer sausage, then you got to kind of get through it a little bit faster. You can't just. You could just bite it, take a bite of that, take a bite of cheese, and throw in a cracker.
Yeah.
But so we went to the summer sausage, did about an hour and a half smoke in the Big Chief. I totally screwed that up. I borrowed the Big Chief from a friend, and it was going okay. And then rather than just take the tray out and add more chips, I went to check the whole thing. I don't know, why would I want to check that? There's nothing to check. So I let all the smoke out, and it was getting kind of late, and this was on a school night, so that set everything back a lot further than it had to be. And this whole process does take time, so if there's people who are looking at doing it, like, you gotta start earlier.
Yeah, well, because I'd made summer sausage once before, and I'd done it in I don't know if it's like the 2-pound packs. They're just really big. And I didn't remember taking that long to get up to the temperature, but then when we were cooking, these are 1/2 pound, 1 pound packages. I don't know. Pretty small diameter. It just seemed like it took forever for them to hit that 165, which is what they're supposed to get to be safe.
Yeah. I think part of it was, and you mentioned this, that when we put it in the smoker, I didn't have it at temperature yet. So it was like on the way to getting to there. So it wasn't really hot by the time it came in, or wasn't warm, wasn't getting toward temperature. So that was probably the problem.
Maybe room temperature after the smoking.
Yeah, total disaster. And that was all and I know better. Stupid.
I mean, I don't think that's that big a deal because people like cold smoking is a thing, right?
Yeah. But I think the intent, if you're going to do it, then do it right. And I kind of screwed that up. But so it took a while to end up finishing those, but they ended up tasting fine. Maybe a little dry.
Yeah, I was going to say the other thing that was big was like, I mean, you went to bed because it was so late, but I got impatient waiting for them to cook, and so I just turned the temperature up, and I think that just renders out more fat, so that's probably why they were a little bit dry. Yeah. So next time, definitely leave enough time and really wait those 5 to 6 hours that it takes to get that thing up to 165 in a 190, 200 degree oven.
Yeah. Well, and they say that the best way to do it is to move it up in slow increments. Mm-hmm. But yeah, if you have the time, then it's nice to be able to do that. But yeah, it was not good. But
we made a small batch, so yeah, it's fine. We learned a lot.
Yeah, and so now a second batch is tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah. Still tastes good on pizza.
Yeah, oh, it's so good on pizza, and it is pretty stinking good.
Yeah,
and it's something I think you buy the mixes to kind of figure out what you like, and then you can tweak the mixes, add to it. Or then if you really like what this is tasting like, then you can look at the ingredients and like buy enough in bulk. But I think starting off with just getting ingredients, and you have a ton of paprika, or you have an absolute ton of, and if you end up not liking it or end up not doing it, then you're kind of stuck. So the mixes are probably a good way to start. Get some confidence, figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, I even think that the kits that you buy are, I think the price is marked up where you get all the cure and the spices and everything in there that you need. But last year I just bought the spices separately and mixed the stuff up, and I don't think you pay that much of a premium for buying like just the mix part already as a mix. Like if you look at, I think Walton's is one of those online ones that they do a bunch of different mixes. And when you think about how much you get, it's really not that expensive.
Yeah.
After years of fine print contracts and getting ripped off by big wireless providers, if we've learned anything, it's that there's always a catch. So when I first heard that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month, I thought, what's the catch? But after talking to them and using their service, it all made sense. There isn't one. Mint Mobile's secret sauce is that they're the first company to sell wireless service online only. They cut out the cost of retail stores and pass those sweet savings directly to you. For anyone who hates their phone bill, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. I was hesitant about having to get a new phone and a new phone number, but with Mint, you can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone and your same phone number along with all of your existing contacts. Mint Mobile gives you the best rate whether you're buying for one or for a family, and at Mint, families start at 2 lines. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and to get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/waypoint. That is mintmobile.com/waypoint. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/waypoint.
So that was, what was before that? What is the cooking adventures? You've done a couple different types of sausage and bratwurst. You do last year we got mule deer, and I brought mine home, and you were still down in Laramie, and you did a couple different types of bratwurst with your mule deer, right?
Yeah, I tried out a Stephen Ranella recipe and a Hank Shaw recipe.
Oh boy.
The Ranella recipe was his like Vietnamese sausage. It's got ginger, garlic, soy sauce, a little bit of grated carrot, probably some other things in there. but it has that kind of Southeast Asian flavor to it, and that one I really liked. It has, limited applications, but we really enjoyed just, we would grill them or whatever, and then have them on a bun with some, just like mayo and shredded carrot and cucumber, and those were really good. I'd definitely make those again.
Yeah, I really like those. That was just a different flavor. Most of the time that I've had a brat, it's been with, your standard spicy mustard, grilled onions, things like that. More of a tailgate type thing, but that was really good with the cucumber and the carrots and mayonnaise.
And then the other one, the Hank Shaw recipe that I made was I think he calls it like a British banger. It's kind of your sausage that you eat with meat and potatoes, or with potatoes, I guess. It is the meat. Potatoes and peas maybe is like the British. And kind of the unique thing about it is that it has oats in there as a binder. And it was all right. I enjoyed it. I don't know if it's like, usually for me a recipe that I'm going to make again, I'm like, oh, I love this. I want to eat this at multiple meals, because obviously when you make a batch of sausage, make a pretty big batch. So it wasn't bad, but I think I'd probably try out other recipes before I go back to that one. But I don't know. To me, that's kind of part of what the fun is that you get to try out a variety of stuff, and even if it's not your favorite, it's like, well, do something different next time.
Yeah. It's a nice thing too about getting more than one animal, so you don't feel like you're trying something out that you end up not really liking, and that was, half of the deer that you did. So the smaller sample size, and then, making sure that you're stocked up with what you want, and then go from there with some experimentation.
Mm-hmm.
And then before that, actually not before that, because that goes all the way back to last fall. In between that was my attempt to do sausage with caribou that I got back from up north, and that was not a great experience. A lot of this stuff on the first time was easy if you have a second person to either throw things off or kind of help out. And I made the sausage was pretty good, just like as a mix, and then just kept it. And then I tried to do sticks, but without casings. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea.
It was like meatballs.
Yeah. I don't know why I thought that was going to work.
Yeah, I don't.
It was like I was pre-making meatballs. That was stupid. Definitely, if you were there, the voice of reason, what are you doing? Why would you think about cooking this? So, yeah, and it dried out. But, the rest of the caribou was awesome. And again, I only used a little bit, so it was, I didn't ruin or waste too much of the caribou. So, ended up eating all the stuff anyway, so I didn't throw it away.
To be clear, we eat everything, but it's just how much do I like this?
Yeah, that's what constitutes a waste is not what goes into the garbage, it's what doesn't taste as good going down. Well, so that about covers food.
Yeah, in terms of like products that we've made, I guess.
Yeah. And then you got your standard halibut enchiladas. That's pretty easy. There's not much that goes into that. Obviously, you cook your backstrap, burgers.
I guess, actually, the other thing that I tried last year was the breakfast sausage.
Yeah.
I just tried to make with, use bacon as the fat, and then a whole bunch of mostly fresh herbs, sage, probably some garlic, and it was really, really good, but it was, good on pasta, I thought. It wasn't, I don't know. I was trying to figure out what makes a breakfast sausage a breakfast sausage?
I
what spices are in there?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that people add to make it breakfasty is maple syrup, and I don't always like maple syrup.
But when you buy Jimmy Dean's at the grocery store, it has
which you never do, but
it has a distinct flavor.
Yeah, that
is the breakfast sausage, and what is that?
I don't know. That's the secret. That's why Jimmy is rich.
Yeah.
No, I totally. Whenever you go and you get a breakfast sausage, it tastes way different than any other sausage that you've ever had.
Yeah.
And there's something in there that does make it. This is breakfasty, but it's not maple syrup.
No.
Don't know what that is, but
and it's
like
not
you said,
sage. I added a ton of sage.
Definitely not sage. That was really, really good on a pasta.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Good breakfast sausages is awesome. I definitely want to try some chorizo. We got some chorizo packages waiting on whatever we can get our hands on next. Might end up being bear at this point.
Hopefully not. I believe in you.
Yeah. We still got a couple weeks left, so hopefully we'll get another deer. But yeah, that's about it for food, I guess. Good recipes. Yeah. We have been. How's this for a transition? We have been sampling the housing market. And this is a problem that I've kind of heard about and kind of knew about. And when I moved back to Ketchikan in 2013, I was kind of looking around at, at some point getting something and earning some equity. But there's really not a lot of things here that are in the price point for a single unmarried man, woman, or whoever.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think there's not a lot of things that we're looking for something that's out of town that either like backs up against public land or has a view.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like when I first got here, what I was seeing was that there wasn't anything that was kind of affordable for that price point.
There's a ton of stuff in town that you could buy.
I don't think a ton of stuff, but there's not a lot of stuff that you
just wouldn't really want it.
But even like, it's just pretty expensive. And then you're looking at stuff.
The housing market here is more expensive than you would think.
And there's a lot of work that you would have to probably put into a lot of these things, because if you're looking at the climate and how rainy it is, you don't want to buy something that is a lower price point or something that you can afford that's in town or anywhere. But if you have to replace the roof, that's one of the hugest things around here. If you have something that the roof has been out, well, the roof is always outside, but if it's been 30 years from either when it was built or when the roof has been replaced, like that's a long time to be out from a fresh...
Roofs here do not last 30 years. Things deteriorate so quickly.
And you can tell. And so anything that's made of wood around here, you can just tell that, man, the last thing I want to do is buy something because I can afford it. And then all of a sudden have to, find black mold or something like that. So it took a while to just kind of think, man, this is really tough. And so saving some money, and then now with you here, we got down payment, but still, like, we're not getting the dream home. We're just looking for something. And then looking at, like you said, a place that either backs up to public land or has a view. I mean, that's very tough to find. The lot is usually not super expensive, but if it's usually just a lot. And so you'd have to do all the clearing and everything yourself for either one. Probably not. Usually the beach is like not available at all. So something with a view. And then sometimes the pads are there, but then it's pretty expensive. And so you could build. Housing materials are coming back down to normal, apparently. I've heard from some builders, but yeah, it's pretty... I'm sure we probably just sound like typical whining first-time home buyers. Like, oh, yeah, must be your first time buying a home. That's the market. But, it just seems like in a place like Southeast Alaska, that's what you're going to get.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing that's kind of a bummer here is that, like, people are like, oh, like... People assume, like, people like my parents or whoever I talk to back in Wyoming or Massachusetts are like house up there shouldn't be that expensive. It's Alaska. There's tons of land. But they don't realize that Ketchikan being coastal and the mountains they rise up pretty quick. So there's not a whole lot of real estate. And I don't know right now if it's rental market and, summer rentals that's driving prices up. But I don't know if Ketchikan's growing. But we've seen... pretty big increases in home prices, I would say. Yeah.
They're adding small little developments. It seems like in, 10 to 15 little houses, which is fine. You don't have the massive developments, so you can keep like a unique neighborhood type thing going. But it does, like you said, the terrain rises so quickly from the water that there's a lot of work that needs to be done in order to get things level first, and then a lot of rock work that needs to go into it too. Not as bad as Juneau though. Juneau is unbelievable because whereas
I don't know about Juneau.
Ketchikan doesn't seem like it has a lot of space, but there are some areas where you can pack 15 more houses, 15, 20 here, and then, back at the Whipple Creek area, and, just there's some spots where you can add some more. Juneau, it's way more extreme. It comes right down, the mountains come right down and meet the water, and it doesn't look like there's any space left. And that is crazy. We're looking at
way
houses,
more
and they were so
people live
expensive.
up in Juneau than down here, though. So
Yeah, it's about 3 to 1, something like that. I think they have 35 or so thousand people in Juneau, but that's still for a state capital, especially to be maxed out pretty much on space. Like that's not great. So up north, it's a little bit better. We looked at some properties up there, just like a comparison, and you can get some acreage up there. That Matsu Valley's just got a lot of space still, but there's like 100,000 people that live in that area.
yeah,
That's crazy.
I don't know. I got friends in Wyoming that are looking at buying land up in Alaska to ranch or farm or.
It's part of I think it was FDR. Yeah, it had to have been because that was New Deal. I don't know if it was before that, but yeah, it was part of the New Deal where they took farmers up. And it may have been actually before that. Anyway, so there were farmers that came up and they farmed in the Matsu Valley, and only recently did Matanuska Made, which is a dairy that had been around since the 20s or 30s or whenever. Just recently went out of business. But, the Alaska State Fair has just amazing crops because the growing season is short, but the days are so long that stuff just goes crazy. Bees go psycho, and plants and vegetables and fruits go pretty good. So it's a very unique environment, but definitely can be done. But yeah, everybody wants a piece of Alaska. You have all these reality TV shows, and I want my land, and I want to get my cabin, and this and that. So, Buying Alaska has episodes up here. I don't know what season that they're in, but they've been in Southeast. They've been up there, and people buying. It's their second home or third home, and we just want a nice vacation home here in Kachemak Bay. Like, it's crazy expensive to get there, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting going through that, and then what's going to be happening between now and when we start building. If we start building, there's just a lot of variables, but it's kind of fun to go through it. But I've heard from people that the only reason they were able to get their house is because they got lucky. They happened to be the right time, and they happened to have the money. But we've seen a couple houses that have been sold and
that's what everyone says to you when they don't need to feel bad about not being able to buy a house.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. But I think there's some truth to it as well. But I don't know. So it's kind of a fun experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to dream about.
Yeah.
It's not as fun when reality hits.
No. It's the considerations are so different here because you're looking at where we're going to park during the winter. If we're on a hill, and chances are we will be on a hill, no matter where you're at, there's going to be some hill. And do you have a little space where you can park in case you get snowed in? Is there a spot to put the boat? And is there a spot to both put your boat and your vehicles? So it's considerations.
I'm more worried about where do we put the holding tank for the water and the septic system and the whatever septic field you got to have, and that's got to be a certain distance from the garden. And
yeah, it's funny to go down the dream list though. You start thinking about, the hot tub go here, and the sauna here, and we'll have the apple trees here. And then, maybe we should find some land to buy first and worry about getting it built. But, yeah, catching the rainwater is, I don't know, it seems like a lot. And a lot of people do. But I wouldn't even be able to guess at a percentage because I know a lot of people are on city water. But, yeah, it's just kind of a standard thing. So, yeah, some of the tanks are underground to save space, and but I think the vast majority of the ones are outside. It's just part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of considerations. But
Nobody does fall better than Whole Foods Market. The Spice Up Autumn event is happening now. Save on animal welfare certified beef top sirloin steak, perfect with gravy for a comforting meal. Find savings on organic Honeycrisp apples and organic pears. Then visit the bakery department for their limited time pumpkin butter chai cake. And while you can, level up your fridge with fall wine, beers, and ciders. Spice Up Autumn at Whole Foods Market. Terms apply. Must be 21 plus. Please drink responsibly.
well, coming up for the weekend, what do you think? Should we take the boat out somewhere?
So weather's good, yeah.
I think the beach hunt thing sounds maybe somewhat appealing. If we can get back somewhere, we have to have a bit of a fire drill to get the raft off the boat, and then you just kind of float around while I try to get something done.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to have to be a pretty dumb deer because I don't think we're going to be smooth at all, but...
Yeah, so many people get them like that, though. So many people
Yeah.
just cruise around, and it's not a big deal. But I think they kind of have the program down, at least a little bit. If you go like right at the thing and try to, that's not good. But getting to a spot, like going past it, if there's a little bit of a nook or a little something that outcropping, you can nose in there, drop someone off, and then back out. Or you don't have to get too close. I can just take the raft out and row to shore and try to make it happen. But
Yeah.
you have to kind of gauge how comfortable the thing looks, and I would assume that there's always been a couple tries necessary before finally putting one down. But yeah, at some point maybe you get a good method rhythm, and you can sense the urgency of the deer and the mood of the deer, and you can make it happen. But
Yeah.
I don't know, it could feel just like you're driving around and it's the stupidest thing to do. So
I mean, you're pretty likely to see deer, so that's fun.
yeah.
Cover a huge amount of ground versus, when we just hike around and hunt, you go 2 miles and you see no deer, so.
That's the frustrating thing. You have your plan A, and if you have to go to plan C before you even start, you just lose that confidence. That's what happened last week on that Saturday. Super excited, got up super early and went to the spot. There's 2 trucks there.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? So then we didn't have time to go to plan B spot. So it's plan C, and I'd been there before, and there was 2 rubs and a little bit of sign, but it's so stinking loud, and it's not in a spot. It's in a spot that's not at all, overlooked. It's totally obvious, and I just didn't really like it. We tried to hunt it pretty well, and I thought we did hunt it pretty well, but I started to get a little frustrated around 10:30, 11 o'clock is kind of when my initial excitement starts to wane, and I think we're not going to find anything, not going to see anything. We sat on that muskeg for 30 minutes and then moved slowly to some transition stuff, and I thought we hunted pretty well, but you just get this feeling of we're hunting a dead deer or hunting a deer that's not here.
Yeah.
You feel like you're wasting your day.
I don't know. I mean, I always feel like I hunt well, but then when you don't see anything, you start to question that.
Yeah.
And you don't even spook something out and see him running. There's nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's when I start to get the feeling that we're hunting dead deer. That this probably was a spot, and someone probably called something nice here because it was really good terrain, and there was obviously deer there at some point because there were some really nice rubs.
Well, and you talked to one of the guys that was there. They got there before us, and he's sitting in his truck smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
And he shot a deer in that area the day before, and then we see blacktail for him.
Yeah.
He got a deer that day.
Yeah.
So he's 2 for 2 days in that area that we hunted. So I don't know what that says about us, or if he killed all the deer, or if we should smoke more cigarettes and sit in our trucks more.
I don't know. You say smoke cigarettes as if we smoke cigarettes. That's not true. Not true.
I'm just saying, I'm at the point where I'm willing to try anything.
Yeah. Yeah, that's too bad too, because I had some pretty good success, but this year is really bad. Last year I had the luxury of using the bow and missing, and then still having more time. But this year I just haven't seen anything, so it's kind of stressful. But hopefully we'll make something happen. But I got a couple weeks left, and that Thanksgiving stretch will be nice, where we can have like 5 days, and we can be out with everybody else. Wave high as they drive by with deer. I mean, it's frustrating.
Maybe everyone will tag out, and then we'll tag in.
Yeah. It is kind of like we're joking about it. I mean, it is frustrating, but really the thing that I have to remind myself is that yes, it's frustrating, and that's a normal reaction to not getting one, especially when you see that a lot of other people are getting them, and they're calling in 2 deer, or they're calling in 4 deer, and they're sorting through it or whatever. But you just can't stay frustrated that long, and they get too resentful, and some people post some stuff online, and you're just like, come on, man, people get frustrated, right? You're not the only one, right? It feels like it, I know, but all of us who aren't posting feel the same way, which means there's a lot of us that aren't getting them. And then anybody who lives down south who's looking at this is like, dude, I live in the wrong state. So I don't know, just kind of like get over it. And I know it's super cliche at this point, but the keep hammering thing, like, yeah, that's what you got to do. You got to keep getting after it. A buddy of mine got after it, like got $2. So you and I were both talking about how we hadn't had a whole lot of luck yet, but you just stay after it. It's just, you have to. You're going to get frustrated. Yeah. That's normal, natural, but you got to dial back in, and yeah, it happens. So, yeah. Well, the cookie's about done?
Oh, yeah.
Good. You got anything else?
I think that's all.
All right. Well, we'll, if anybody has any feedback on recipes, want to share the recipes, or have any questions, then we can, I'll keep on talking about that as we're trying out new stuff. And then hopefully we have a better story next Thursday about getting a buck. A nice buck story would be sweet.
Sure would.
Or an encounter would be sweet too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Thanks for listening. Make sure you check out the mediocrealaskan.com. Buy my book, A Miserable Paradise, and on Amazon at Parnassus in Ketchikan. I just sent some new books, or a new shipment of books up to Rainy Retreat Books in Juneau, or you can buy it on Amazon. So that will do it. Thanks for listening.